What's up, everybody? Got some breaking news. Apparently, the Trump affidavit was released. So previously, we had seen the warrant. I was under the impression when the affidavit comes out, it's just going to be similar stuff to the warrant. But you have the specifics on what exactly is in the affidavit. So what do we got?
So if the entire affidavit was released, there would be a lot of information in here that would be new. So the affidavit basically is like the whole government case for what they're investigating, like their legal rationale, and then also the evidence that they have that they would find evidence of those crimes at Mar-a-Lago, and also some details about the sort of informants that they have been benefiting from the intel that they're receiving, and all that sort of stuff would be in there. So most of the really juicy stuff was redacted. Not a surprise.
Of course.
In fact, it was kind of a surprise that this judge decided to release this affidavit, unseal this affidavit at all. But they said, okay, DOJ, you can come back to us with which redactions you want. And so, of course, the DOJ was going to take a heavy hand in getting rid of anything that they thought could identify their confidential informants and any other things that they thought could be, not useful in the public realm.
So that's what's redacted, is like, if they release this stuff publicly, Trump will know who the rat is, basically. So they're protecting the identity of the person who is giving them the information. That's why certain stuff is redacted.
And you know how they're always very aggressive in how much they redact. So anything that they even thought was possible that it could cause a problem, they were going to redact. And the judge, we already knew this before today, wholesale accepted all of their redactions. So there isn't a whole lot new, but there are a couple of little tidbits that people are pulling out. And I did read through it. There's a lot of the information that's already been sort of publicly reported and confirmed about his interactions with the National Archives, also about the amount of classified documents that he was in possession of, the level of those classifications that included documents that were that highest level of top secret classification, including that special compartmentalized, that thing that's like the highest level. But here's what one expert said, taking a look at this. Bradley P. Moss, who's actually a legal expert. Now he's a resistance guy, so that's definitely where his leanings are. But he happens to also be an expert on classification and the law, so he is a good guy to listen to on this. He says the affidavit is out. All the juicy stuff is redacted, but here are a few thoughts. Number one, the National Archives requested in early 2021 that documents be returned. Took months for Trump to return that first batch of records. Two, the records listed as classified still do have their classification markings, and there's no evidence of declassification. In fact, there's an entire section where it looks like they're going to go into their analysis, the government's analysis of why these documents were still classified, but that's all blacked out. Number three, the documents listed as TS/SCI, those are the top secret ones, encompassed FISA information, signals, intelligence, and human intelligence sources. Number four, the Trump team was trying to argue for months Trump can't be held criminally liable. That argument went nowhere. And number five, no evidence of a standing declassification order provided by Trump's team to DOJ. Number six, the government provided evidence that documents were moved. Couple other things people took note of. I noticed this too when I was reading through it. There's a line in here that says there's probable cause to believe that evidence of obstruction will be found at the premises. So that means that it wasn't just, we're going to get these documents. It also means we're looking for physical evidence of, you covering up and hiding from us the documents that you have. So
like the surveillance camera, for example, inside Mar-a-Lago, where Trump may have went to go move the documents after he was told, hey, you have to return these documents. And by the way, the fact that we now know it was months that they were waiting for him to comply, I think that's plenty of evidence of obstruction right there. Why are you waiting months? And what are you hiding? If they tell you to turn it over, if you didn't do anything wrong and it was just like incompetence and you were rushing or whatever, you could just turn them over and everything would be fine. But you didn't. You stonewalled for months, and then even after you returned some of them, you didn't return all of them. So that looks like obstruction to me. I see really no way around that, logically speaking.
It was interesting to me that they thought they were going to get specific evidence of obstruction from this search.
Right. So that when they go in there,
they would go in, because they already had subpoenaed the
security
cameras. So it was interesting to me. They thought they'd get something new.
Did they not turn them over, and then they had to go in there and get them themselves? No. So, but they could have
access to that
doctored it
already.
and then, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
I don't trust a fucking thing this guy does. And now I'm even more convinced of his guilt. You were given months to comply, and you didn't fucking comply?
Well, I mean, what both of us were saying is any normal person, like, you don't get asked once. There's no, like, pretty please will you give us back the top secret classified documents.
OD favoritism.
They're there, you know, FBI raid happens immediately. There's no, like, nice little back and forth. And he was asked multiple times over months and months and didn't comply.
And by the way, Ken Klippenstein is reporting. I covered this the other day. It's a little bit of a side point here, but the DHS and Secret Service are basically trying to stonewall the January 6th investigation, and they're not complying.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, in other words, there are elements of the deep state that are pro-Trump that are bending over backwards to try to help him in this instance. So,
the last thing that people noted is there is a line in here that says there's a significant number of civilian witnesses. So that would seem to indicate we're not talking about one informant. We're talking about many.
Wow. That's crazy.
Your vape is killing me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was blowing it out there. Sorry. Let me breathe in the cancer fumes. I don't want you to breathe them in. Sorry.
All right. Love you guys. I'm going to recover now. Bye.